All right, it is time for a tag video. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. This is going to be the birthday book tag because you guessed it. Whose birthday's around the corner? That would be me. Yes, I'm actually really excited to do this. I saw this over at Storm's channel, Storm Reads. Happy birthday, Storm. And I was super excited to see it because I had another tag video lined up for birthday, but it was more age related. And I was like, I don't know about that. So this is perfect. I will leave a link to Storm's video down below and also the source for the questions, which looks like it's a blog post from 2018 from the Bibliophile Girl UK. And yeah, so let's get to the questions. I am really happy to be doing it. My birthday is this week. Yay! So first question is birthday cake, a book with a plot that seems cliche, but you adore it anyway. To be honest, I kind of feel like sort of most of the fantasy and urban fantasy that I like might fall into this category. So we're talking about a band of misfits, working together, good versus evil, the odds stacked against you, but through resilience, knowledge, bravery, friendship, learning, and love, they conquer or resolve or win or even change other people's minds to make the whole world a better place. And whether or not that's cliche or not, I don't really care because I love that plot so much and I will read any iteration of it ever, because I actually think it's not, I think it's something worth believing in, and so maybe that means I don't feel it's cliche, but I do feel like with cliche, you're talking about something that gets used a lot, something that all the beats. Tropes are I think some tropes are a bit of a stepping stone to cliche. Tropes have like different patterns that you follow, but cliche seems to be like the whole story. Let me know your thoughts on cliches versus tropes. And I feel like also they have some interesting preconceived notions with both cliches and tropes that I feel like tropes are like more accepted to people saying, I like these tropes. And cliches are always still have that sort of edge of guilty pleasure that like you're not supposed to like it. If you know what you like, why is this a bad thing? So I don't know, like. And I think also I wasn't going to go to the as you get older, but as you get older or as you read more or watch more, like I find this with film because I've watched so many films over the years. I'm still catching up with reading books, but there are some stories that are told again and again and again, and there are the first time you see that plot twist, you might feel this way about it, or the first time you read this kind of reveal or this kind of character. But as you continue to read and watch more, you see those things again and again. So I think they feel like cliches because we've read or seen them so much. But I don't know if there's certain things just that are cliches. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on cliches. I am, as someone also that likes romance, you always know what the resolve of the story is going to be. So, does that mean the whole genre is cliche? I don't think so. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on cliches generally. I love talking about stuff. So this is birthday discussion. Yay! Let's talk about cliches. Weird. Anyway, and also this is a bit more of, it's not quite a cliche because it's not enough, but I love anything with, communicating with animals or talking to animals or talking animals or shape-shifting into animals. I don't know if that's enough to be a cliche, but if it is, I would read it. I love that without question. Question number 2 is party guests. Your most anticipated book release of this year. Mainly we're talking about sequels, and one of them actually has already come out, and that is The Last Fallen Moon by Gracie Kim, which is the sequel to The Last Fallen Star by Gracie Kim, which I rebought in trade even though I had it on hardcover on my shelf. I think that's the first time I have ever done that with a new purchase. Sometimes I might buy something secondhand by accident, but when I bought The Last Fallen Moon, I was like, I might want to reread this, and I thought I had read it during from the library. but I bought it. So now I have 2 copies of The Last Fallen Star. Anyway, so I haven't read this yet. This is a middle grade urban fantasy, and I absolutely loved The Last Fallen Star. It was one of my favorites of last year, and I imagine this might follow the plot that I outlined in question number 1, or answer number 1. Another book in a series, or next in series, that I'm super excited for is the next book in the Mercy Thompson series. This is the series opener. So it's the 13th book is coming out. The last time I checked, it said August 23rd, but I had also heard June. I had also heard September, so I'm not sure. So I am looking forward to it. I've already recommended it to my library, so that means hopefully I will be like first in line or near the front of the line when it comes out. Mercy Thompson is also an urban fantasy series, but it's an adult urban fantasy series and has a strong mystery element to it. I do feel like each book has a mystery to it, that Mercy has to help someone with something, or sometimes she needs help with something, but she is very resilient and usually figures out a way to make things work out in the end. Great character, great series. Now, question number 3, birthday presents. A book that surprised you with how much you loved it. Oh, it's not here. Hang on, I forgot. Preparations not complete. That feels very... You'll have to forgive me on that. So I'm not finished reading it yet, but I have been really enjoying this book, Fishes of Toronto, A Guide to Their Remarkable World. This was put out by the City of Toronto, and it was done the year of a year focusing on biodiversity. And so it's kind of like a promo-ish things, kind of, sort of. I don't know. It's not really. It's like the history of fishes in Toronto, and it has lots of different fish. This like these are great. These are all cold water fishes. Right. So, and then they have like cooler water fishes. Oh, this is a featured cold water fish, the mottled sculpin. Fish eating fish. So it has been, this I just found from the library. I got it from the library. I just found it on the shelf, and I am surprised at how much I am enjoying it. So I haven't finished it yet, so I'm a bit getting ahead of myself, but it happens. Okay, so question number 4, the Happy Birthday Song, a book that certainly got all of the hype that it deserved. Earlier this year, I did read What Strange Paradise by Omar Al-Akid, and this was excellent. It is a heavier work without question, but very, very well written and a very compelling and heart-wrenching story. So it's a Canadian book, and yeah, it got me. It's national bestseller. I'm trying to remember if it won Canada Reads. I'm not sure. It was definitely on the Canada Reads. It's on lots of lists, and well deserved. Question number 5, Happy Music, a book with some truly beautiful and memorable quotes. So I'm going to say the quote, and you let me know if you know what it's from. I will also share what it's from, but I'll give you a moment to try and figure it out. This is my favorite quote. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night, the day, thou canst not then be false by any man. Do you know what this quote is from? It's a very nice artistic rendering of the quote. It is from Hamlet. Yes, it's from Hamlet, which is probably one of my least favorite Shakespeare plays, bottom 5. And it's Polonius. He says it to Laertes. And I love that quote. I really, really love that quote. I don't pick a lot. That's not true. I was going to say I don't pick a lot of quotes. But for me, that was just like also a particular quote that was really meaningful at the particular time in which I heard it and meant a lot to me. And I wrote it on my English notebook, because I was that person. But I do wish, like, it's weird because I make notes, like I use flags in books all the time to make note of things, but then I don't often go back to collect those notes. Sometimes they're like, I want to remember this moment, and sometimes it's the quote, and I wish I had some practice of putting quotes together or had a quote book. There was at one point I did have when I read The Haunting of Hill House. Is that what it's called? The one by Shirley Jackson? When I read that, I actually did a 2-page spread in my sketchbook with quotes and different items, like the teacup with stars and the house and stuff like that. And I did a sort of like, I don't know what you would call that, but like I did a sort of impressionistic, these are the things that I remember were important to me from the book. But to be honest, doing that kind of stuff actually takes a fair amount of time. Not that it's not worth it, but I think right now I've ended up falling in the pattern of reading a lot and not doing as much around or not around. I do a lot of planning of my reading, but I don't do a lot with what I read. And so I wonder if having some time to put some quotes together would be something that would be good to do. Like in theory, it's something I would love to do, but am I going to set aside the time to do it? I don't know. And then I often like highlight stuff on my Kindle, but then I don't look back on it. And I often just end up, when I put flags in books, I just end up taking them off when I need to like return it to the library or put it back on my red shelf. I don't know. So let me know, do you have a practice of like picking quotes or keeping quotes in some way? I think part of this falls down to the fact that I read lying down. So to actually like physically write the quote is not something I'm generally going to do in that moment unless it's very, very meaningful, and in which I'll like type it out or take a photo of it on my phone. So, but yeah, let me know. Do you have a practice or habit for keeping quotes or looking for quotes? I would love to hear about it because I wonder, it might be something fun to do. And I think it might be something fun, or if I was going to do it, it would be something I would have to give myself quite a modest amount of time to work on it. And because otherwise I think I would get overwhelmed and never come back to it. So just pick a couple of the books I've read recently, give myself 20 minutes and a cup of tea and write them out. I don't know. That might be a fun thing to do. Do you do anything like that? I would love to hear all about it. Okay, so what's the next question? Question 6, getting older. It happens. A book that you read long ago, but you think you would appreciate more now as a mature reader, or appreciate it more as a mature reader. I actually feel like I might be the reverse of this situation, as I tend to read now a lot of younger titles, and I think when I was younger, I read a fair amount of older titles, and it's not that I never read age appropriate or anything like that, but I also can't think of a particular adult work that I read when I was younger that I didn't like. There's some that I wasn't interested in that I read in school, like I think we all have that, but I don't feel like there's one that I didn't get. I definitely now read things that I don't understand, so maybe I just need to mature a bit more. I'm not old enough to answer the question. Just kidding. Yeah, I think for me it might be a bit of the reverse, is also that I think now if I went back and reread some of the works that I enjoyed, I might now notice things that are problematic that I didn't pick up on when I read them when I was younger. So I think that's an element to things that is a different perspective, that is not about appreciating it, except for the fact that I might appreciate it less because I'd be like, wow, I didn't pick up on these themes or how, like, what was going on here or the description of that, and now I know that that's not appropriate. So I don't know, so I feel complicated about that one, and it actually has made me resist rereading some old favorites because I just feel like I don't want to go through that, and I don't want to, and there are a lot of, especially unfortunately in sci-fi fantasy, especially from older works, there are authors themselves who have been very problematic. So sometimes it's just better to be in the now, and for, like, I don't want to go looking for trouble there with older works. I'm like, if I enjoyed something at the time, that's one thing. I was who I was then. Who I am now is someone who hopefully is more cognizant and of certain things, and we all learn and grow in different ways. And so I think that's my really roundabout answer to that question. Wow, I thought this would be a quick tag, and now I'm getting all like philosophical. Okay, so let's keep going. And then the 7th question is, Sweet Birthday Memories, a book that kept you incredibly happy during a sad or demanding period of your life. I wouldn't say that kept me incredibly happy. And I don't do a lot of sort of escapist reading, but when I thought back, I realized this is a series that I read a lot of the books and a lot of the in-betweeners at a time that was really tough. But because it's such a long series, I only finished it, I think, 2 years ago. So the time period in which I read a lot of them that was tough was quite a while ago now. And that series was the Kate Daniel series by Alona Andrews, which starts with Magic Bites. I think it was in particular a lot of the sort of the in-betweeners, like the 3, 4, 5, like books around there, before the full book on Andrea. So anything from here up until then, I read in quite quick succession, and which is not my normal way. I usually jump around a lot, but when I was reading this, I was really hyper focused on it, and it was quite a tough time, so it was nice to have something that I was that engaged in, which is interesting because now I don't do a lot of like what I would call escapist reading. I actually find when things are really challenging, I find it hard to focus on reading at all, depending on what was going on. But this says demanding, period, or sad, so for me it was challenging and sad, but not necessarily demanding. I think if I'm having a really demanding time again, I just don't have the capacity to read, and I'm probably more likely to reread, or just not worry about it. Just not worry about it. So yeah, and also, and as it turns out, this is one of my favorite series ever, and I never picked up on if that there could be a connection there, that it was helpful at a time that was trying. So maybe there is. It's also just an amazing urban fantasy series. I think it's like it's my favorite urban fantasy series. I would be very surprised if anything else ended up my favorite adult urban fantasy series. I really, really love. I really, really love The Gifted Clans. So, but that's still in process. So I think it's going to be a trilogy. Until the whole thing's out, I can't say. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this, and thank you for bearing with me as I ran out to get Fishes of Toronto. And yeah, and feel free to do the tag, especially if your birthday is in July or upcoming in August, or save it till a different time of the year. I love saving tags for later. But I'm also way behind on doing tags. I'm trying to get a little bit more on schedule, and I actually should be. I have a couple of stuff already ready to go, pre-recorded, so hopefully things will be a little bit better. And also, just around the corner on Saturday, Grinchathon starts, so if you love doing readathons, join us for a Grinchathon on Sunday. It's running the 24th to the 31st. I'm so excited. It starts the day after my birthday, and I'm going to be reading all of the Grinchy things with all of my fellow Grinches. It is a readathon created and hosted by Izzy from Punk Rock Girl PA, and she usually does a version Christmas in July, as well as one in December. For all of the people who aren't as fond of the holidays, or even if you like them, you're allowed. You're allowed. Everyone's allowed. There's no rules, which is so much fun. There's prompts, but there's no hard and fast rules. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Again, if your birthday is in July or August, you are tagged, or, if you want to hold this for the rest of the year, or into next year even, feel free to do it. I think it's always fun to do a birthday tag. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.